world is a beautiful place, but not when your eyes feel dry, gritty, irritated. Protect them with Refresh brand eye drops. Refresh is no ordinary eye drop. First, Refresh relieves dryness. Then Refresh forms a lasting shield of protection that keeps irritation out and moisture in. So get relief and protection with the #1 brand recommended by eye doctors. Refresh brand eye drops for relief and protection that lasts.
The following is brought to you by Pella. When you're ready to replace your windows or doors, Pella, viewed to be the best.
Only Pella windows and patio doors offer the between the glass feature, which keeps your shades protected from dust, dirt, and other unwanted elements. Pella, viewed to be the best.
Everyone knows
that besides bewitching millions of moviegoers with her legendary violet eyes, Elizabeth Taylor was married 8 different times.
many people know
That Elizabeth Taylor was the first actress to earn 7 figures for a role, nabbing $1 million payday for Cleopatra.
You may have heard
That Elizabeth Taylor wrote a book called Nibbles and Me, a semi-autobiographical tale of a girl and her chipmunk. That was published when she was 14 years old.
but it's a little-known fact.
That one of Elizabeth Taylor's first film roles was a bit part co-starring with Carl Alfalfa Switzer in a film called There's One Born Every Minute. The film was released to try to make Alfalfa a genuine box office star. It never really worked, and Liz ended up the one with the stellar career.
Want more from a sport utility? Test drive the all-wheel drive Subaru Outback. More ground clearance than a Ford Explorer Sport. More cargo space than a Jeep Cherokee. More miles per gallon than any leading midsize SUV. Add a smooth car-like ride and you have a sport utility with a whole lot more. Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Now you can get an APR as low as 2.9% on all 2002 Outback models.
Next episode of The Lot, the studio heavy ruffles some feathers.
Do they pay you to be a son of a bitch?
A writer gets his first taste of Hollywood politics.
Mr. Silver, I'd like to know why you took my name off the picture.
And an actor plays with fire.
I promise, I can stop.
And gets burned.
You're a junkie!
The glamour, the fortune, the fame, the truth. Based on the real stories from the real backlots of Hollywood. AMC's original series, The Lot. Next Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
I'm just never going to drink again in my life.
Get out your handkerchiefs as Cary Grant and Deborah Carr have a romance you'll never forget in Leo McCarey's classic love story, An Affair to Remember, next. The following is brought to you by new Trident Advantage mints, the good for your teeth mint.
Sometimes you just need to brush. Big time. That's why there's Trident gum. Chewing Trident after eating helps fight cavities. Can't brush? Chew on this.
Everyone knows
That Cary Grant was perhaps the smoothest leading man ever to fill a tux and flash a smile on the silver screen. In 76 films over 4 decades, Cary Grant was always the man.
many people know
That Cary Grant was Ian Fleming's real-life inspiration for dashing Private Eye 007, James Bond.
you may have heard
That Cary Grant, for one reason or another, kept a small length of twine in his pocket at all times.
but it's a little-known fact.
That towards the end of his life, Cary Grant wore a gold chain around his neck with 3 charms attached. The 3 charms represented the religions of each of his former wives. A St. Christopher for Virginia Sherrill, a small cross for Barbara Hutton and Betsy Drake, and a Star of David for Diane Cannon.
The following is brought to you by Skincare from L'Oreal, because you're worth it.
Once you pass 50, skincare's a whole new game.
L'Oreal introduces age-perfect anti-sagging and rehydrating treatment.
Because mature skin has issues all its own. It starts to sag, loses resiliency, and needs more moisture.
Age-perfect actually improves skin's resiliency, tightening its network as it deeply rehydrates. So effective, in only 2 weeks, 83% of women reported more resilient skin.
Today, this is what mature skin looks like.
New Age-perfect, only from L'Oreal Paris.
It's an innovation for mature skin.
Hi, I'm Neal Gabler, and welcome to AMC's Superstar Sunday. Our next film is about as close to an archetypal tearjerker as you can get. It's An Affair to Remember, starring Cary Grant and Deborah Carr. And it's the movie that Meg Ryan sobs over in Sleepless in Seattle. Cary Grant was obviously one of the most popular actors of all time, but he wasn't always the easiest fellow to work with. It wasn't because Grant was temperamental. It was because Grant knew every trick in the book on how to steal a scene. Director Frank Capra once described how Grant, when he was making Arsenic and Old Lace, kept upstaging the two old women playing his aunts just by making a face or positioning himself at a certain angle. And Deborah Carr made the same observation after making An Affair to Remember. She said she had to keep on her toes to prevent Grant from stealing the picture. That was hard to do, since Grant was such a likable presence. Other stars, like Jimmy Cagney and Jimmy Stewart, felt they had to change their personas as they aged. They became darker. Cary Grant was one of the few who never did change. He remained the debonair, slightly flustered romantic lead right up to his last film. Here is Cary Grant stealing scenes from Deborah Carr in the widescreen version of An Affair to Remember.